trying to be authentic is very, very important. I feel like when you're not authentic, it's very problematic for you and your relationship. And so therefore authenticity is very, very important. Now, there are situations which are just like fleeting things here and there. They're a little bit different to like being authentic with someone that's close to you, that you have a long-term relationship with, all these kind of things. So generally, yes, authenticity is very, very important, and it's something to do as well, that you should focus on. I think that we need to realize that authenticity, it requires strength. That strength actually doesn't come from yourself. The strength comes from Allah. If you look at the prophets and all of the people that were the righteous people, they had to go out and they had to speak the truth. They had to be authentic, even in situations where it could have meant their death, their destruction, problems for them. So authenticity itself, I think, is a very, very noble, virtuous thing, but it requires strength, and that should come from Allah. So we should obviously be asking Allah to help us to become authentic and all these things. I think that a lot of stuff, I always say that this is a book called Persuasion, which is basically written by the same guy that wrote Persuasion. And what he says is that what you do before something, or the timing when you do something, makes a big difference. So imagine that you're that guy who says to me, like, I think that you're 60, and you say to me, how old do I look? Now, one thing you could do is you can soften the blow. So whenever someone asks you anything, you can always add context before you answer. So this is like a technique for you, right? Anyone asks you anything, you can add context. So for example, you could say to that person that I always get this wrong, or I'm not good at this, or don't be offended if I get it wrong, or something like that. And then you can kind of go, like with me, what I usually do is that I'm like, usually I guess their age very closely. If someone says, how old am I look at them, I'll like judge them, and then I'll usually go a few years lower. Like I could be wrong, margin of error, maybe 2, 3, 4 years, and I'll go younger, because people don't like being told that they're old or that they look old. Right? So if I thought someone was 60, I would definitely not tell them they're 40 unless they look 40. Right? I would go like, okay, I think this guy's 60, but I could be wrong, so maybe I'll say like 55 or something. But you can always soften it. Like that. And I think a lot of these things are like very easy, casual, in jest things, as a joke. So I don't think it's like a huge deal at that time as well. You could just say, I don't know as well. You can say, I don't know. You can avoid the question if you really don't want to answer it as well. But I don't think this is like a big mark on you that, oh no, I'm not an authentic person just because this asked me. A lot of the time when these kind of questions come up, you're a bit unsure how to answer. People are just a bit confused, like, how do I answer that? How do I say that in a way that's not offending the other person, all this kind of stuff. And I think that we need to realize that authenticity is not necessarily like me just going out and saying whatever I want to whoever I want, however I want. And no, that's not what authenticity is. And this is why we know that, the Prophet, when he talked about backbiting, he said that even if you say something that's truthful, but it would be hurtful to the person, that would be considered backbiting. Right? Now, someone else might say to you, well, bro, that's authentic. I'm being authentic. I'm saying she is this and that. I'm being authentic. No, it's not authenticity. It's actually backbiting. Right? So I say that there's a level of authenticity filters that we need to have for certain situations, and to try and do the best thing as well. Of course, like deep down, I really do believe that you can say anything to anyone if you have the right context and the right build-up. So if I just go to you and I just say, Umar, you're just a loser. Like, obviously, no one's going to take that well. Like, why is he calling me a loser? That's rude. That's disrespectful. That's this, that's that. But if I came to you and I said, Umar, look, I really, really care about you. I've been trying to coach you for years. I've been trying to help you in different areas of your life. But right now, I feel like you're a loser. I feel this, I feel that. You're gonna take that very differently. So what you say before, the context, all these things, it can help you with your authenticity, and it can also help the person who's going to receive your authenticity. So you can actually do that, where you set it up in a way where they understand what your intention is. And this way it goes back to crucial conversations, where you basically tell the person about the mutual respect that you have, about the mutual intention that you have, and trying to create that understanding between yourselves, where you can say anything to that person as well. I was thinking about people pleasing the other day, right? And I was thinking, what's actually the issue with people pleasing? I don't think people pleasing itself is a bad thing. I think people pleasing is a bad thing when the intentions are wrong. So, for example, imagine I'm doing people pleasing for the sake of Allah. I think that's different to doing people pleasing so that I don't feel rejected. Like you could work on actually helping people, pleasing people, being good to people, all this stuff, just for Allah. Like forget myself. You could even do it where, oh, I hate the feeling of rejection, I hate the feeling of negativity, I hate conflict, all this stuff. So I do think like people pleasing itself could be like something you should think about, that it might not necessarily just be a very, very negative thing. And I think when we're in certain situations, you know, it's not so bad. Like imagine we're sitting at a table, right? Like yesterday we went to the wedding and everyone was going to sit down at a table. Now imagine that I want to sit there and someone next to me says, oh, can I sit there? Or is it all right if I sit there? Now deep down I want to sit there, but that person just said they want to sit there. So now I'm like, you know, it's not that big a deal. Yeah, that's fine, you sit there. But I wouldn't come to myself and say, oh bro, you're so inauthentic, like you really wanted to sit there, why didn't you sit there? He sat there, you should just talk. No, it's not a big deal. It's like a tiny thing. He wants to sit there. I don't mind giving it out for the sake of Allah. He goes there, he's happy to sit there, that's fine. But if there was a cause, like one of the things that happened last night is that they've got the head table where all the close family sit, and there were people that weren't supposed to sit on that table, and they were all coming to me saying, bro, you speak to them, you speak to them. So I went and spoke to them and just, you know, kind of like tried to tell them. So sometimes there's times when you got to do it. But I think people pleasing, it's not such a great thing. I think people pleasing is a problem when it starts to like really hurt you badly, and it starts to affect you negatively and all these kind of things, and it's not done for Allah's sake.